Welcome to Big Red Leads. I'm Big Red, getting you and your business back to the black. Today, I want to talk to you about a little something that's going to require you to use your imagination a little bit and maybe some understanding. And a lot of the things that I might say today, you can go fact check yourself. You can go Google that. You can go Google this. You can go Bing it. Research anything that I'm saying that you believe I'm misleading or I'm giving you misinformation, whatever that's supposed to mean. But understand, I'm always going to speak the truth to you because I love you. If ask you a couple questions real quick. If the grocery stores no longer had food, what would you do? Hmm. Ooh. If your job closed the doors, said, we're going out of business, what would you do? Whew. If the water in your local community was simply cut off, what would you do? Now that your team is lost, what are you going to do with your energy? What are you going to do with your time? Are you too busy worried about being entertained, or are you not understanding that what's really going on in the world? There are certain people on the planet right now, as I'm speaking, that are buying up farmland, tons of it, and telling the local farmers not to grow any food. Mm. Right now, you have certain places in the world, use Canada for instance, and we'll use Canada and the United States. On the coast, you have truckers who cannot necessarily move because of shipping issues. Okay? And you have blockades of truckers in Canada who are protesting, standing up for their rights and not trying to fall in alignment with issues that they disagree with. And I respect them. So, with that being said, when's the last time you've been to the grocery store and you noticed that the shelves were quite empty? And then the next time you go, there's just enough food to for the consumers, the buyers, the customers to purchase exactly what they want. Just enough. Have you been paying attention to any of these things? My next question might hurt some people or might mislead some people because they're going to get lost in the word. Do you fear death? Hmm. It's not that I want to die, but I do not fear death. I believe in something greater than me. I believe in God. I believe in the universe will provide me with everything that I need, not what I want. So where in the entire fuck do you get the idea that you have time to be entertained? What's going on right now and what's being bombarded on our youngsters, and I'm saying youngsters, I mean young adults, is this ideal. If you go on IG right now, you will not see anybody post anything remotely close to what I'm about to describe. When's the last time you seen a raggedy, beat up car and a pair of work boots? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that, Red? Well, what I mean by that is, What it simply says is there's people who are actually out here building their foundation, and in the great words of Drake, starting from the bottom, and now they're here. Not trying to be instantly wealthy, but building upon the foundation of what it means to be a man and what it means to be a woman. Morals and principles that they live by. We're not talking about the grind. We're talking about the building of a foundation of something that you can pass on to your children and your grandchildren and the rest of your family and your community. Where do we have time to be entertained? I hope you enjoyed the game. Frankly, I could give two shits about it. I played sports, and guess what? Those days are long gone. I understand there's a lot of things that you can learn from sports, but me being dependent upon it is not the ideal. As I grew into an adult and understood and spoke to a spiritual shaman who actually gave me some real game and understanding of that's not my calling, that's not what I'm here for. The average lifespan of an NFL player is 2.5 years. Where are these 20-something-year-olds out in the world who did not stay in the league? Don't get caught up and be deceived and misled by the fact that you have players like Tom Brady who play for 20-something years. Don't get caught up in that bullshit. Don't get caught up in the people who play for 13, 14, 15 years. For every one of them, there's 100 that didn't make it. Where are these individuals at now? I had several friends who played in the league. Are you not entertained? Understand what that one scene in Gladiator was speaking about. The senators were sitting there talking about he who controls the mob controls Rome. Well, guess what? The United States of America is Rome right now. While people are starving and dying of disease and all kind of other issues going on, they are slowly behind the shadows, in the shadows, manipulating and controlling and putting out things that are fucking up the planet. The planet is slowly being just disintegrated into something that is not meant to be. And when the earth decides to simply say, fuck it, we're done, all of us are done. If you go back and you can find these videos, you can look up these quotes from some of these quote-unquote people of power, so-called power, money, influence, and power. Every last one of them has said we need to control the population and get the numbers down. What does that mean for the people who are a part of that population? You are useless eaters is one of the quotes. They don't give a shit about you. They do not care about you. Understand, if you are not willing to work with your neighbor and your friends and your family and put them in position to win and not necessarily trying to entertain them all the damn time, you are providing something that is truly powerful, and it is revolutionary. It's amazing to me that all these sporting events take place in Black History Month. Because you got another one coming up after the game from yesterday. Pay attention to what's going on. And if you lack this self-awareness, understand, you have been programmed and we can't save everybody. It's okay. I'm not here to save anybody, but what I am speaking on relates to everything that's going on in the world right now. If you are not about your business, if you are not building up your community, and if you are not giving people the knowledge that they need to know to move forward and act accordingly, understand, you are part of the problem. We are simply programming young people to be caught up in Louis and Gucci and all the shit that means nothing. That is a status symbol for you if you live in the black community. Since when? I can give two shits about that cheap ass material. Why the fuck would I buy a Rolls Royce when I can provide something for my community with $280,000? Are you fucking kidding me? Even if I had it, I wouldn't buy it. And I get it. You've been programmed to believe that this is what you want. This is what I need to be. I'm chasing the bag. Get the fuck out of here. I want to see somebody say they're balling, and I want to see them buy some land. I'm balling and not making it rain like this. Make it rain with some crops. How about that? Farmers are literally being paid not to grow food. Let that sink in for a second. Let that sink in for a second. And I have friends who are farmers who are being slowly subsidized by other individuals who they don't even know is in the backgrounds, who are purchasing this land from them. The only reason I'm speaking on this is because we talk about real things that go on this page, on this channel. This is what we talk about. We talk about real shit. It's time to wake up, people. And I'm not talking about the fucking woke community. It's scary where we're going and what's getting ready to happen. It's already happening in several places. If you have the opportunity to look at news around the world, this is where we get played. It's funny how you don't really get to see the news from other places around the world unless you have quote unquote like satellite or something like that, and you can actually see what's going on, the protests, the riots, the things that are going on, people dying over here, thousands of people dying over here. It's only a tragedy whenever it's a typhoon, a hurricane, or a massive earthquake. And it's always funny how Haiti is always getting hit with an earthquake. The one country that stood up to the slavers, and won. The quote-unquote poorest country in the world. But yet, all these other countries who had a part in their enslavement saying that these people owe them money. How the fuck do they owe you money? It's funny how that works, isn't it? And if you go and look, there are certain things that are going on in our own government. These are not conspiracies. You can look all this shit up. There are certain things going on in our own government where these people are talking about they have the ability to control weather. I don't know, maybe a storm? How about what happened in Katrina? All the people who weren't able to get back to their homes, they just write up laws as they go. And if you weren't able to get back in time, you lost your property. It's funny how that works. Red, what are you getting at? What I'm getting at is you need to be paying attention to what's really going on. This is all a stage and a play. Let me distract the people over here with this bullshit game and entertain you with that, while we're going to take and take and take and take from the people what's really necessary and what's needed in the space to live a life. And if you think this is relevant and you think I'm playing with this, understand, go to your local grocery store. Go to, just go to your local grocery store. Go 2-3 days in a row. You ain't gonna go and buy anything. Just go and look at what the hell I'm talking about. There's a water shortage going on right now. This shit is real. I'm looking at protests across the globe in all these other countries. And you know what? You don't see none of this shit on the news. Because it's television. They gonna lie to you. And the same people who are in charge of the United States and who are in charge of the world are changing the narrative around you as we speak. This is Black History Month. You know that over 70% of the average everyday items that we use were invented by black people. Look it up. You use them every day. Even the racist ass white folks who don't even understand what the hell I'm talking about. If you're not a racist, you're not a bigot, then this won't. It should not hurt your fucking feelings. But understand what it is. You use items that were created by former slaves, inventors, black folks, people of melanin, people of color, every single day. You go take a shit, a black man invented a toilet. Stoplight, black man invented that. Now, I'm not saying this to hold this over you, but I'm saying this so that you really understand what the hell this is. This is not a game, that nobody's playing with you, but it's funny how all these major fucking sporting events take place in Black History Month. Go back to Gladiator. Just watch the one scene that I'm talking about. They throwing the peasants bread to shut them the fuck up while they're being entertained, while the rest of the world around them is starving and dying. Now, if you believe in a higher power, none of this will affect you, because you already know you are connected to your fellow human being, your fellow man and woman. Frankly, I don't care if you like this message, but understand, I'm putting it out there, and there are several other brothers and sisters who I know are putting out a very similar message, because everything is being censored, everything is being taken down, people being shadow banned, all this other stuff. Understand, if social media shuts down, then what are you going to do? I didn't even touch on that. If Mr. Mark decides to say, you know what, I'm going to cut all this off, I'm going to keep my ass in my part of my island in Hawaii, I'm done. What you going to do then? There goes Instagram. There goes Facebook. The people at Google decide to say, you know what, we're done, we're going to shut this down, YouTube gone. What you going to do then? What are you going to do then? Mr. Dorsey already, he stepped down from Twitter, so what you going to do then if they just say, you know what, we're going to shut all this down? What will you do then? Simply waking up is waking up. You don't have to be woke. Pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to what's really going on. Watch something other than your local news, which is the same programming that's going on a county over, and a county over, and a city over here, and a city over here. If you're in the United States, you've been bombarded and you've been programmed so deep that you won't even believe half the shit that I just said today. I hope you enjoyed the game yesterday. Love you all. Talk soon. This is Big Red Leads. Have a great day.